You, just the tradition at Ohio State, the defensive guy, knowing that this tradition of all these excellent players, and you're here representing the Ohio State University.
Yeah, it means a lot to me. Growing up in Columbus, Ohio State's always had a special place in my heart, and I haven't been here for the last, 4 years of my life, and getting to experience how great the school and the program is, firsthand. It means that much more to me now, and being chosen to be representative for that for us is something I'll cherish for a long time, and I'm really grateful to be here.
Thanks, Shane.
With all the veteran leadership that's back, especially on the defensive line with you, JT, Tyleek, how is this summer different from summers of the past?
Yeah, I think just it being our fourth year here and knowing what to expect and having all three of us played a lot of football now, that makes us really confident, and also we're that much more mature enough to know what we got to do in the off season, and having done it, previous years now, know what it takes to get to the level we want to play at. So I'd say just the veteranship that we have now, and being able to go through another off season, but now we're the older guys, so now we're the leaders on the defense. We're helping out the young guys in every way we can, and being there for them, and being a shoulder for them to lean on.
Obviously, your team expectations are pretty high, but individually, when you got to Ohio State, do you remember kind of what those individual expectations and outside pressures were? As it relates to guys like Will Howard coming in, Kate Wells coming in.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was like being an individual kind of facing those kind of outside pressures?
Yeah, absolutely. When I think all of us, will tell you that when we left high school, we all thought we were going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. When we got to campus, the first step, that we took on the field, which couldn't be farther from the truth for the majority of the players. So I think everybody kind of goes through their own growing pains, and I think for everybody it takes a little longer or maybe a little shorter than others. And having been here now for 4 years, I can say that for me, I feel like I played my best football the last 6 games of last season. And everyone always asks me why. I feel like it kind of took a little bit for me to start clicking on all cylinders, but really I just think that everyone develops at a different rate. And some people just aren't ready to make the plays, or maybe it just wasn't their time yet. And for me, I just kept my faith in God and kept working. Didn't get discouraged, because I knew that what I was capable of. And eventually, I started playing the best football I possibly could. So I'm excited for this season.
Jack, you've played Wisconsin each of the last 2 seasons. You've done this pretty big offensive transition. What was it like getting ready for them back in 2022 versus 2023 last season?
Yeah, I think that whenever you play Wisconsin, you're playing a really, really tough team. Team's going to run the ball. Coach Fickle does a great job with those guys. So they were always playing a great team. I think it's kind of wasn't really too much of a difference. For me, I can't really remember all the way back in 2022, but I can tell you that last year, I remember, we're facing a big offensive line, good running back, and everything against those guys matters, because they could break a long run in a split second. So I just remember preparing for a physically, tough team, and a team with a bunch of good athletes as well. Yeah.
Does it feel like you guys have been pretty sure together at all?
Yeah, I think it definitely does. I think Coach Day is a coach that he's the only coach I'd want to play for in college football. I'd commit to him 100 times over if I could. So that's why, when we talk about coming back, a lot of us have felt like we're his first real recruiting class, and we kind of all felt like we let him down in a sense of not reaching the goals that we set out to do when we signed our name on the dotted line. So I think that, going through the things we've gone through the past, few years with Coach Day, definitely feels like we've gone through it hand in hand.
It looks like you almost committed twice, because coming back to this season, was that like compared to rally across the first one?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit different this time around, obviously, because a lot of us had great opportunities to go to the next level, and it was tough for a lot of us to decide to come back. And it's a dream of all of ours here playing at this level, to play at the next level in the NFL. Since we were little kids, so making that decision to forego playing in the NFL to come back for one more year at Ohio State was a very tough decision for a lot of guys and myself. So we came back for one purpose and one goal, and that's to beat the team up north and win a national championship. Yeah.
The first priority always beat that. There were 3 M flags hanging over there for the last 3 championships. I tried to ask your team over there if that bothered it. He said, I'm not thinking about any of that. And Mecca's like, no, he just sidestepped. So how much does it burn with you that that's something that's got to be done?
Yeah, the past few years are definitely, 3 seasons that, we came up short against those guys, and, I'd be lying if I told you that it didn't burn a fire inside of us. So, definitely something that we think about, and we know what's at stake when we play those guys. All of our goals and aspirations for the season rides on that one game in November. And, they hate us, we hate them. That's the way it's got to be. That's the way we want it to be. So that's what makes that rivalry so fun. And we're just looking forward to that game this year.
I've always understood that the bar is always been set that high. And yet I have other people that say, Coach Day gets unfairly criticized because there have been surrounding circumstances with that game with the North. But 3 losses is 3 losses, and even though you've probably beaten almost everybody else, that's where the bar is, or do you think you get the raw deal?
Well, I think it's a tough thing to look at. I know, if you ask Coach Day, Coach Day's man enough to sit up here and tell you that that's part of the job he signed up to do. But me being a guy who would go to war for him any day, regardless of the topic, I think he gets wrongly criticized on a bunch of stuff. A bunch of junk came out after we lost to those guys a couple of times about him not caring, which is just completely couldn't be more wrong. So I think he does get unfairly criticized at times, but like he said, he knows what he signed up to do, and we all signed up to do the same thing as well. We've fallen short as well. So if anything, it doesn't go back on him; it goes back on us as players, and that's why we decided to come back.
Jack, with the guys that
thank you.
Jack, with the guys that decided to come back, and I mean, 5, 6, 7 you guys that could have gone to the NFL, were those conversations? Was everybody made their own decision, or were you guys texting back and forth? And you brought up the Michigan thing. Was that part of the conversations with the other guys?
Yeah, I think that when we all decided to come back, I think I was the first guy to tell Coach Day I was coming back. I told him I was coming back before the bowl game, and I made a group chat. We all were kind of texting and talking as the weeks and months after, or the weeks and days, I should say, after the Missouri game. We were talking about it, kind of here and there, and I was throwing stuff in guys' ears, trying to talk to them about coming back and why we should come back and how much it would mean to the city if we came back, and to Ohio State, and being able to etch our names in the legacy here if we win a national championship and beat those guys up north. So it was kind of a collective group effort, and a lot of decision went into it, but everybody made their own decision, was best for them, and ultimately I'm glad that a lot of them decided to come back.
Jack, I have a fun question for you. Obviously, we're excited around the new college football middle game.
Yeah.
Two-parter. Tell me how excited you are about that game, and kind of talking about the environment. Obviously, the Horseshoe's hard to play in the stadium, neither going like a place like Beaver State or Happy Valley. Just kind of answer that.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I'm sure like a lot of people here, like I grew up playing that game, was dying for it to come back, and it's surreal to be a part of the game. Its first year back. It's super cool, being able to play with the Buckeyes and play with myself. It's a unique experience, and also, like you said, going into other stadiums, it's fun to see how loud and how EA views other stadiums compared to ours. So it's pretty unique.
Did you know your score? Did you know your scores for the game?
What's that?
Did you know your scores, your overall?
My overall? I know my overall's a 92. That's the first thing I looked at.
Do you know your speed?
No.
Did you take a guess? Speed and strength. It's all
speed. I'm gonna say my speed is an 86.
Wow.
Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, and my strength is probably like a 92.
85.
85 strength?
Overall, you're 92.
You're getting contact with some of those guys from EA.
Is 92 correct?
I think 92 is fair. Hopefully after the first few games it can get bumped up a little bit, but we'll see.
Is 85 fair?
For what, speed?
For strength.
No. I don't think so at all. I think they're doing me wrong with that 85 strength
How
stuff.
much you benching these days?
I honestly don't know. We don't max out, so I wouldn't know. Oh, it'd be upper 90s for sure. I think I've been trying to talk to JT about getting into the game, so we'll see. Hopefully we have some good news about him joining the game here soon.
Did you say anything about the producer being from Michigan?
Yeah. Yeah, I think when you come to Ohio State, and Coach Day says it all the time, that pressure is a privilege, and that's kind of been our motto for this summer, is that, we're in a blessed position. Every team in college football would love to be in a position we have, with the team we got, with the coaching staff that's in place, and the expectations we have. Because when you have high expectations, it means you're relevant. And that means, people expect great things of you because of the players you have on the team and the coaches you have on staff. So, we don't really we don't really try to pay too much attention to it. We know it's there. We know what's at stake. We know what our goals for this season are. We bust our ass every day to reach those goals. So but honestly, we keep those on the back burner for most of the time. Yeah, I think it get a lot better. I think that when you look at our team and all the guys that came back, being our third year in the system, I think that you guys all saw the jumps. I think we felt the jumps from our first year in Coach Knowles' system to our second year. And, going into our third season, we just feel that much more confident. We know the system that much more. We know what to expect out of Coach Knowles in certain situations. So I think that the mixture of those things is going to help us play faster and more free and lead to bigger plays being made, too.
Jack, you said you felt like you let Ryan down in that 20 years when you came back. What was in that? Obviously, you didn't accomplish all your goals. You still had a great career. What kind of was going through your mind?
I think it's just when I committed to Ohio State, we had just played in a national championship, coming off of 3 or 4 Big Ten championship wins, having lost to the team up north in 8-9 years, and then when my class gets there, it kind of reverses. And I think for me, being the type of guy I am, I think naturally I felt like I let not only Ryan Day down, but I let the city down. And so for me, it's all about coming back and a lot of us, we all feel the same way too, is that we weren't going to leave here without having one more shot at doing this the right way and leaving here better than what we came here for. So,
what would it mean for you to walk out with those?
What was that?
I was going to say, what would it mean for you to accomplish that and get the gold hands?
Yeah, everything. Everything to me. That's the main reason why we came back. You know what I mean? That's when we signed our name on, our letter of intent. That's what we were coming here to do. Especially me being from Columbus, that'd mean the world to me. That's what I plan on doing this fall. Yeah, I think he's grown a lot. I think that like the one guy said earlier, that we went through some hard times at the Woody, some hard times in Columbus as a team and as a family. So I think that that naturally is gonna change you a little bit. It's going to make you look at things a little different, and I think that one thing Coach Day's done a great job at is not changing who he is. I think that Coach Day, he's a phenomenal guy on and off the field, and regardless of the heat he took, fair or not, he remained the same and remained humble and confident in who he is. So that was big for us to see, and it was great for us to follow his lead on that. Yeah. Yeah, I think it says a lot. I think it says that he's confident in the guys that he's hired around him to help him lead the offense. Chip Kelly being one of his mentors early on in his coaching career, having him come, I think that helped him in him giving his offense up, because it's kind of like giving away your baby, because he was such a good play caller for so long, but him identifying stuff that he needed to change and then following through with it has been huge, and it's going to help our team in a tremendous way. Yeah, Carson Hinsman is a phenomenal player. I think Carson Hinsman's got a lot of great football ahead of him. Super hard worker. Really humble kid, and I'm excited to see how he does in fall camp. I'm really excited. He had a great offseason. Like I said, he's one of the hardest working guys on the team, so I'm really excited to see what he does in fall camp.
Jack, how did the loss to Missouri kind of change, the psyche of the defense, the team, and the offense in particular?
Yeah, I think that that loss to Missouri was a hard one to take. They're phenomenal. Not taking anything away from them, they're a great team and had a lot of great players. But in the sense of that, we had a chance to win the game on defense and we didn't. That kind of stings. I think we pretty much had them locked up for the whole game up until the end of the third quarter, where they hit a big deep shot. That's kind of like the sword in our back. So it was depleting for us, and I think that gave us more fuel to come back and to get better than we were before.
What did you focus on, knowing that you had 3 sacks? It's kind of hard to do that. So what did you focus on?
Yeah, even though I had 3 sacks, there's a lot of things that I could have been better at in that game to help my team, and obviously we didn't win, so it's kind of all for naught. I'm just focused on becoming the best player I possibly can be. Week in and week out, working on everything in every part of my game, from the pass rush to the run stopping. So, I can say confidently that as a defensive line, as a defense, we're looking as best as we ever have. So.
I feel like something like personally at the end of last year, Jack, it's like you're playing good all year, maybe not too great. Maybe I'm not saying that off of my assessment. I feel like something like great.
Yeah, I think that I think a lot of people forget that I didn't really play a whole lot of football my freshman and sophomore year. I played a good amount of snaps, but I think for everybody it's different. For me, as the more plays I played and the more games I got under my belt, the more confident I felt. I think by the middle of the year, I kind of just said, I can play at this level with anybody. I'm just going to let it fly. And I think after that, I haven't looked back, and I'm looking forward to carrying that into this season.
You didn't move around as much last year, with Jack, like the previous year. Did that help just playing the one position?
Yeah, I think that playing just defense, getting back to just defensive end help definitely did. I felt that's where I feel comfortable. That's where I feel like I excel at. So getting back to just that definitely helped. And but the first couple of years I was willing to do anything to help the team win. Yeah, I think my confidence just kept growing and growing. When you start making plays, it helps. And I feel like early in the year, there's a lot of plays that I could have made, and I was just a step away, or I'd leave games like, man, I was this close to having a couple sacks. You know what I'm saying? So it's just staying true and then going to work and not getting your head down or getting frustrated and letting it affect the way you carry on for the next couple of weeks. And I think that speaks to kind of a lot of us in the program. A lot of us, have started playing our best football towards the end of last season, like Jordan Hancock, and obviously Lathan Ransom got injured but was playing great football last year before he did. Denzel had another great year last year, bouncing back from his sophomore year. So when you look at our defense as a whole, we're all growing in the right direction, playing our best ball. And we were already one of the best defenses in the country last year, so I think that this year, our motto and our standard of silver bullets is to be the best. So that's what we're going on and trying to put on the field. I think I think it kind of goes. Sometimes the flow of the game, doesn't really flow your way. You know what I mean? Sometimes there's not a lot of plays to be had, and sometimes it is just making a play when it's there for the taking. So I think it's a little bit of both. Yeah. Right. I mean, for me, I love it. I love that the Columbus, takes Ohio State football so seriously, because it's what I grew up doing. I grew up going to school 3rd and 4th grade, and that's all we talked about was Ohio State football. What happened that the previous weekend, or we can't believe that this or this didn't happen. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of what I grew up doing. So to me, I don't know anything else. I don't know anything different. I know for a lot of these guys, I can't believe how serious it, people, no matter where or what you do or what you do around Columbus, people always want to come up and say something, but it just speaks on the position we're in, how blessed we are, and how cool is it, would it be to tell your younger self, especially for me when I was this big, that, one day you're going to start for Ohio State at defensive end. It would have been a dream come true. Yeah, I mean, I try to tell these guys that, that's the way it is. And they're like, yeah, I'm used to it, like being from back home, being a high-rated recruited guy, or, maybe when they go back home now, having, being a starter in a college football program, but they didn't understand how it was being in Columbus and playing for the Buckeyes. I think a lot of them caught them off guard, and so it's been fun. It's been fun to see their reactions to it.
You saw the runway it takes to get to this point. As a defensive lineman, we haven't really heard your opinion on Jeremiah Smith. What is it about him that makes him maybe different than you were as a 5-star recruit coming in? What do you see that makes him special?
There's a lot of things I can list. That kid is just special. I mean, that's the only word I can use to describe him. Haven't been in his shoes meaning being a 5-star recruit and having a lot of hype around him coming in, you know, I was like, man, like, you know, I just want to see him, you know, practice a couple times. You know, I don't want him to feel like, you know, if he doesn't play this year or if he doesn't live up to the hype his freshman year, then, you know, but then I saw him for the first time at the first practice. I was like, holy shit, this kid's good. So, you know, he's a great young player. He's got a great future ahead of him. He's got a great head on his shoulders. Very humble kid. So, whatever he gets, he's earned and he's worked for it. So I'm super excited for him. Wait, he said what? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think Chip Kelly brings a good little change up to what Coach Day's already doing. Being on the defense side of the ball, I can't really talk too much to how much he's going to change. You know, I haven't really seen too much, but I do know that, you know, he likes to run the football. You know, likes to play tough. He's got a bunch of different wrinkles and plays that he likes to run and install. So it's going to be fun to see how he elevates this offense because, you know, we got the pieces and you know, it's going to be really exciting to see what they do on that side of the ball this year. Oh man, that's tough. I think since we play him, definitely Dylan Gabriel of Oregon. I think that's definitely got to be up there, just because, you know, we're playing Oregon and he's a great quarterback. He's had a good career, and, you know, they got a really great team. So if I had to pick one, it'd be him.
You've been in a lot of minutes for a lot of these veteran guys who come back this year. Is there a specific approach or pitch that you had for some of the other guys who took off to the NFL to come back?
For me, I just told those guys, like, look, man, like, when we came to Ohio State, you know, we had all these goals and aspirations to achieve, and, you know, don't get me wrong, I want to go to the NFL and chase my dream of that more than the next guy. But before we can chase that, you know, we had something bigger at stake, you know, something bigger than ourselves. Coach Day always talks about is leaving your legacy at the Ohio State, you know, becoming one of the best teams to ever come through here. And my conversations to them were, if we all decided to come back for our senior year, imagine the things that we could achieve. There's nothing we couldn't achieve. So I think that was my sales pitch, is that, look, if we all decide to come back together, that, you know, we're coming back to beat the team up north, win a national championship, win a Big Ten championship. So to me, that was the selling point to those guys.
Jack, what's the name for a guy along the defensive line that maybe?
What is that again? Can you repeat that?
Yeah, what's it gonna take for you to feel good about the legacy you're gonna make, all those goals?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all those goals. You know, we came back for one last ride, and we got one last shot to do those things, you know, because we haven't done it. Unfortunately, we haven't done any of those things since I've been here. So I think that, you know, when we raise our heads after the season, you know, if we completed all three of those things, it would have been a success.
Becca has said that you guys haven't really won anything yet.
Right.
How much of that is fueling this offseason, this preseason you're going into, and then this season overall?
Yeah, I mean, it fuels us every day. You know, I think, you know, I wake up and thinking about it. I think about it every day. You know, I haven't won a championship. I haven't beat the team up north. And, you know, you walk around the Woody and all you see is championships and championship posters and banners, and haven't been here for 3 years and not helped our team and this organization win any of those. You know, it's something that wears on me, and it's something that motivates me every day.
Jack, who's the guy along that defensive line that maybe people aren't talking about now, but come the season they'll find out quickly about?
I think one of the most underrated players on our team is Ty Hamilton at nose guard. I think that if you go back and watch his tape, you won't see anybody play as physical, play as hard, and you know, do the things that he does on a play-to-play basis, taking a double team, you know, knocking the center back 3 yards, making them have to bounce, and then, you know, easy cleanup for me, myself, JT, or a linebacker. So I think Ty Hamilton's due for a really big year, and I'm excited to see him get some of the props that he deserves. I didn't even do that on purpose. Maybe I did. No, but I think that, you know, we got we're so deep. We got such a great defensive line. You know, we look at the guys that are behind us. You know, Caden Curry, Kenyatta Jackson, Caden McDonald, Hero Canoe, Taiwan. I mean, everybody, you know, on our defensive line, and those young guys, they're going to have great careers, you know, here at Ohio State, and a lot of those guys are going to be playing a lot of football in the NFL too.
I just feel like we've seen more and more on TV about Josh Simmons.
Yeah.
this year. As someone who gets to go to physical practice, how have you seen him kind of make strides in the last year or so?
Yeah, I mean he's an athletic freak. I mean he's one of the most explosive guys that I've been around. I think he kind of realizes that too, and he's a guy who's got really good feet for being that size. I mean, I've only gone up against a handful of guys who have feet that good being that size. One of them is Paris Johnson. So I think he's finally realizing what he's capable of and how important he is to our team's success. When you got a guy that's as big and strong as he is at tackle, I mean that can open up run lanes and shut down guys on the blind side of our quarterback. So I think that he's one of the guys where, man, he's got a lot of potential that he's tapping into right now.
Jack, what tells you that the chemistry on this team that you guys were talking about is real? How does it show up every day, I guess?
Yeah.
I guess a common purpose? Well, how would you describe it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the chemistry that we have with this team, it kind of speaks to, how we all came back. I mean, I think if you look around programs across the country, you got 11 to 15 guys who go pro and be drafted. A lot of those guys are going to leave and go to the pros. And we all decided to come back and play another year here at Ohio State. So that in itself speaks to the brotherhood that we have with each other. But then again, just the camaraderie we have on a day-to-day basis in the weight room and outside of the Woody. And, I'm really excited for you guys to be able to see, how far we've come this far.
How does Michigan play into that?
Okay. Thank you, guys.